I'm Sharon Brett Kelly, and today on The Detail I'm in Whakapapa village on Ruapehu, Mount Ruapehu, where it is pretty blimmin' quiet, but the Skywalker is running. It's the gondola which takes tourists up the mountain. There's a few, like a handful of tourists around. It's pretty quiet. There are a few workers I can see, and I've just been into the cafe to get a cup of coffee, and I talked to the young man who served me. He's here on a working visa from overseas, and he tells me that they're all just waiting to hear what the fate of these two ski fields, Whakapapa and Turoa, what their fate is, because the saga of the company that runs them, Ruapehu Alpine Lifts, just drags on, and it's just could be 2 weeks till the opening of the ski field, and still they don't know. And he says, well, it's okay for him, he can get a job somewhere else, but he really feels for the people who live in the towns that are so dependent on these two ski fields, towns like National Park, Ohakune and Ratehi, that are just waiting to hear what the next step is. I'm heading back down the mountain now, past the chateau, that imposing 19th century landmark, now empty, its own future uncertain. I'm going to National Park as the latest news on the ski fields is breaking.
Well, the company that runs commercial skiing on Mount Ruapehu has been put into liquidation. Creditors yesterday rejected proposals to either keep the current structure of Ruapehu Alpine Lifts or to hand it over to two private companies that set off the liquidation process. Now, the fate of this ski season and many more is in the hands of the liquidators, who say they're in a race against time.
They've described it as hopelessly insolvent, $45 million in debt. So this morning at the High Court at Auckland, that liquidation application was heard and it was granted. So PwC, John Fisk and Richard Nacey will take over the liquidation of that company and fold it up.
So I'm in National Park now, which is probably the little town that's closest to Whakapapa, and I'm just going to try and find, it's pretty quiet here, but I'm going to try and find some locals to talk to about what it's been like in recent months or in the last year, waiting for a final decision on the fate of the ski fields. So I'll see if anybody's going to talk to me about that. National Park Village has a population of about 1,000 people, and it has great views of the three mountains. There's a school here, a petrol station, a couple of dairies, and the Northern Explorer train stops here. There are lots and lots of lodges for tourists, mostly empty right now. And like a lot of ski towns, many houses with their curtains pulled. Some call them ghost houses, owned by skiers or other out-of-towners as holiday investment properties. Hello, hi. Hi. I'm Sharon. Is this your business?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Sharon. I'm a journalist, and I'm making a podcast about RAL, about the ski fields.
Yeah.
And so
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Just got some package.
And I just wanted to talk to some local people about what it's been like to, wait for a final decision on what's going to happen.
Happen. It's said happen, right?
Yeah. Can I talk to you about it?
Unless someone talk to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, mate.
Hi.
Come
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, what's your name?
Jim. Yeah.
And Jim, you've been kind of in limbo for months and months and months about RAL. Mm-hmm. What's it been like?
What's it been like? Good question. Probably limbo is the best word. Like, people don't know what's happening, and we start a new business here, and it's hard to plan for the future when no one knows the uncertainty. And it's been going on for quite a few years, but it's just obviously come to a head. And I think a fresh start would be good, so let's hope, fingers still crossed, for a fresh start up the mountain.
So this is new, this business?
This is an old, apart from the 50s, we spent 2 years redoing it. So, and it's basically only been open for 3.5 weeks.
So a lot hinges on those Skifields opening for you.
Definitely, yeah. Winter's a busy time of year for traditionally in Ruapehu. Summer's got its own thing happening, so yeah, it definitely depends, and it's all on the workers that work up the mountain. You know, if they don't have an income, they don't spend the money, and then we all suffer. Yeah,
and obviously you're dependent here on skiers coming to town.
This time of year for skiers, yeah, for sure, absolutely. You know, that's absolutely what we depend on. You can't survive unless you get the numbers.
I mean, even making a decision about continuing to put money and effort into opening this place.
Yeah, like we kind of assumed the mountain will be open, but deep down you sort of had doubts because it's been going on for quite some time. We put the money in, so we got to try to rethink the whole plan and try to bring people to the national park without outside the mountain.
Yeah.
There's been too much emphasis on the mountain for too many years. I think everyone's got one-dimensional on it. So we need to look at other things. There's other reasons people come here.
Yeah, like, in the summer there's lots of things to do.
Lots of things, yeah. There's walking, and then there's hunting, tramping and four-wheel driving and fishing and stuff like that. So,
what's the mood of National Park right now?
Last night we saw it. If they actually came back, everyone would have been down here having a celebration, but it was pretty sad, you know. People were coming down not knowing what's happening still, or actually thinking the worst, which a lot of people are.
I was just looking on its website, and it says it RAL employs about 750 seasonal workers. Mm-hmm. But that's not the only thing, is it? No, I mean, it's all these townships.
All these it's definitely all that. And basically, we're all about beds and food and stuff in this town, just to cater for the people that come here. So it's affecting us. It has a big spill-off, big ripple effect across the whole King Country. And it's a shame in some ways, like the shadows shutting too. You know, it's like I think the government's job should be making people's life easier, not harder. And it's good. It'd be good to see them step in when people need them, especially in the King Country. We've had basically everything pulled out from under us.
Such as what else in the King Country?
Privatisation of the lines company, so the power bills are really high for business operators, things like that. They tried it here first. You know, maybe they should have tried it in Auckland and see what would have happened. You know.
What will you do you think, if the Skifield doesn't open?
Yeah, already are starting to rethink things. Yeah.
Are you?
This is a new business, but we've just reopened, so we want to make a new plan and try to bring other activities to National Park and other groups of people.
But you will stay here?
Well, we got no choice, you know, but it's hard. It is uncertain, but I think the whole world's uncertain, to be honest with you, at the moment, and New Zealand is too.
Well, good luck. I mean, it's still a beautiful place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
Absolutely, it's beautiful. And I do love it. It is a beautiful place. And most people don't live here to make millions of dollars or make money. It's more of a lifestyle, but it's hard to have a lifestyle when you can't even make it bread and butter.
I just went down the driveway of Mano Whenua Lodge, which has got a lot of shuttle buses. Everything is closed here, which I guess you would expect, but as Jim said back there's a lot of ghost houses in this town. That's houses that people have invested in, and he said the other day one sold for $1 million. Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm a journalist. I'm making a podcast. Just a few doors down, I meet another local.
They'll know my voice when they hear me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's your name?
Seamus.
Seamus. Okay, yes. Seamus, and you live in National Park?
I've lived there 22 years.
Have you? Okay. Yeah. So what has it been like? I mean, I know Jim says that, this has been going on for years, the uncertainty over the Skifields. But what has it been like, particularly, say, in the last year?
Oh, well, it's not that bad. Like we're actually starting to get more business from the crossing than we are from the mountain now.
From the Tongariro
crossing, yeah, because it's such a good thing. We get thousands of people come through over summer now, whereas, yeah, like you say, we just want somebody to make a decision about the mountain and decide now, because the season's meant to start next month. The other problem they had was they haven't talked to the iwi enough about it. And I quite understand that the iwi are upset about it, and I'll stand on a picket line with them because I totally believe that the mountain might be a national treasure owned by New Zealand, but they should have a majority of say in what goes on it.
You could also argue that the ski field has been good for this town.
Oh, it's been good for the area, but as in, like I've always pointed out with the mountain, they make out that they're helping the area, but without all this accommodation, there is no mountain because nobody's got anywhere to stay. So where are they going to stay if they come here? And like now, the thing I find with National Park is at least 60% of National Park houses are owned by people from out of town. They're all booker batch care.
Yeah. So they're ghost houses.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't begrudge the people having it, but the problem you have is now there's no accommodation for people that want to live here. You know, the younger ones have bought some houses, but now even the house prices have gone insane in National Park.
People in the town and you yourself, are you rethinking what you want to do, or are you not dependent on...
I'm not dependent on the mountain. I do a couple of houses here, booker batch, and like over summer they're booked out. Whereas the mountain, if they can sort it out and run it properly, it might work. But I've got a feeling that whoever takes it over is going to hike all the prices up, which will stop families coming here. Because if you're mum, dad and 2 kids, you come to National Park for the weekend, you're talking $1,000 easy, minimum, to go up the mountain.
So do you worry that, you know, if there is not the certainty for the mountain, that people will leave?
I think summer business, like I say, is a lot better now, a lot better. I think it's bigger than the mountain now, because the mountain is unpredictable. You know, like you only have to have a couple of weeks of a storm come through and there's 2 weeks gone.
That's right.
And the mountain's really only open from, school holidays in July, and then it closes Labour weekend in October. So you're only talking, 16 weeks.
Across the road to another lodge and meet a young worker from Australia.
You've been living here about a year.
Yes, I have.
And what is it like living here? Because you've sort of been living here at a time when there's been so much uncertainty.
Yeah. I don't know, I just love the community and I just love the vibe here. And
do you?
Yeah.
What is it about the community?
It's just so close-knit and everyone knows everyone and we all just band together and yeah.
Right. And so how would you describe the mood of the place in the last few months?
Oh, I don't know.
Not knowing whether the ski fields will open.
Yeah, it's just very uncertain at the moment. Yeah, I think we're all hoping for the best, but there's always that fear, I guess.
Are you taking bookings here?
Yes, we are.
So what's it been like?
It's been up and down. It's been busy through periods and also quiet through some other periods.
Right, and so looking ahead, I mean, you know, it's only probably less than a couple of weeks before the ski fields should open.
Yeah.
Would you normally have, be fully booked by now?
Oh, I'm not sure, yeah.
No.
I'm not sure about that, yeah.
Are you getting much interest though?
We are at the moment, yeah.
Are you? And what are people saying?
They just want to come out here and, enjoy the area and enjoy the mountain, hopefully, so.
Local people or overseas people?
Some overseas, some local.
Okay. And do they know, are they aware of what is going on? The saga over...
I'm not sure. I know it's all over the internet, so I'm sure some of them know, I'm sure.
Going into the Snow Zone Alpine Centre.
Well, if there's one business that desperately needs the ski fields to open, it's this one.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
Robbie Forbes.
Robbie Forbes.
Yep.
And you own this shop?
Alpine Centre.
Okay, and your farmers.
And ski biz as well. It's two in the one.
It's like a ski and snowboard clothing and hiring.
So we amalgamated 2 shops in the one because we had 2 shops before.
Yeah, I mean you've got lots of boxes here, so you really are. You're getting ready.
It's all arriving.
Yeah,
and going nowhere. So
how does it feel?
Well, I've been in a long time. So I was 98 season was the last bad season.
Well, that's 25 years ago.
Yeah, but it hit the industry so hard when you have 21 days. And with having the technology we had back then, so we've been through the tough times.
Yeah, you have. And I mean, COVID must have been terrible.
COVID, we still made money.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
Well, because the lockdowns wasn't all over New Zealand.
Of
So
course, it was
we still
Auckland.
ticked over.
Yeah.
We had enough to pay bills.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so still 98 was your worst season ever because you only had
Compared to
21 open days.
21 open days.
And normally on a good season, what?
Oh, you start in July, school holidays, necessity.
Yep.
And you go through to Labour weekend.
Yeah.
And because winter here is winter's weather, so you have closed days, of course.
Yeah.
But this mountain is when it's fine on Saturday, Sunday, it's big.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, you get thousands up there, don't you?
Of course. Auckland's 80% of our
Is
cars,
it?
client base.
Right.
Well, you live in Auckland for one reason, to make money, not for the lifestyle.
Oh, well.
That's my belief.
Okay.
I'm born and bred here, but I've been privileged to travel. But so
Yeah. So you've got a lot of money invested in
a lot
here.
of money. Oh, yeah, everything you see, we own.
How are you? Are you feeling nervous at the moment?
Yes, of course. It's scary because we need to go ahead with the new plan, the new owners, and it's getting late.
Well,
and it's not going to happen overnight.
No. How much confidence do you have that the mountain will open?
I hope to be open within 3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks, okay. Well, that's late.
But we need to be open for to 3 weeks and get through to October.
Well, as John Fisk says, if the mountain doesn't open this year, if the Skifields don't open this year, then, they'll never open.
We need to be able to give certainty to everyone so that the season can open. And, if the season doesn't open, then, unfortunately, one season closed probably means that it won't ever open again.
That'll be just tragic because people have put their lives into this. RAL's had a lot of bad luck. They've been there 69 years. They've had a lot of bad luck. COVID had a big impact on them of generating money. And sure, they're in debt, a lot of debt, but we have a ski field that in the past it's non-profit. They paid GST. They got $12 million wage bill, PAY. Imagine that money. But like I said, the mountain is not 100% to blame. The mountain business.
Oh, the mountain business. Because, I've talked to a few people in town and there seems to be quite a lot of anger with RAL.
Well, we weren't saying that in the heyday, were they? See,
No.
I have a different way of thinking. You always kick someone with them down? No. They built the gondola, which I think is the best thing that ever happened to Ruapehu.
Oh, really?
That's my belief. It's a change of direction. And with the new owners, the prospect might be different. But RAL was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And a bit of poor management, sure, but you got to be cruel to survive. They weren't too cruel. So my feeling is that the government's been a bit brutal.
In what way? What could the government
I think
have done?
they could have, when you look at what's up there, it's not a great deal of money that you're in debt for. 40 million. The rest is light passes. So the true fact is that they're 39 million in real debt, not your light passes. They have built chairlifts and built infrastructure. And when you look at the loss that the area makes, right to the supermarket in Tamanuri, Taupo,
That far?
that's the Ruapehu district. I'm not bashing the government, but I'm not happy the way it's gone because they give money away like it's no tomorrow.
Right, okay. So you think that there should have been a bit more consideration
I think there's
for
a lot more consideration.
the whole area and the economy and
Yes.
what those ski fields are worth.
And when they do work, they generate money. I have 12 staff, for Christ's sake.
Oh, do you? And are your staff all ready to go?
Yeah.
Because there's
That's
so
12
much.
staff including us.
Okay.
10 staff, but they're ready to go.
They're ready to go. But what are they doing? I mean, they wouldn't normally be.
I've had to put them off, so they're hanging around places like Taupo. A young Australian boy, he's living here now, so he's been in today, and I've got to try and help him out. It's like...
So you've hired people, but you can't...
the contracts haven't been signed, but they're there waiting to sign.
And that must be the case for all these places in town.
Exactly.
So you've got people, you've got
they're ready to go.
all your staff.
Yep.
But would that be the case for all these places, that they know that they can...
They need staff.
They need them?
Yep.
But then they can't guarantee the work if they don't know.
That's the problem. It's not easy.
No. What would you say the mood is of the town?
It's not too late. What happens in the next 10 days, because that ball will roll slow, if it goes the way that Fisk said, I don't think he'd be comprehending it. Because you're not just hurting individuals, you're hurting everybody.
The whole region.
They forget about the history of the mountain. Short-term memories.
If the worst comes to worst, and it's hard to imagine, but if
I can't even fathom that happening, because it's like, what's happened? What's happened to New Zealand? What's happened?
What you mean, that it shouldn't be allowed to close?
No.
But what if you wouldn't have a business?
No.
So you'd shut up?
Be a good church. I'm born and bred here. I've seen the town evolve.
And you've seen the
I've seen the progress. I've seen the town progress.
And not just this town.
Cooney.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, guys, right back to the supermarket built in Tamanui. They're building for the future.
There's one other thing I want to ask you, though. What if it's a bad snow season?
Yeah, well, climate is happening. But we have infrastructure up there with snow factory, snow making. See, last year was a wet season, extremely wet. But our winter was, we still had a learners facility on Wakapapa because we have a snow factory. My business is massive with learners.
Oh, okay.
Because we're friendly and we're famous in the community in Auckland.
Yeah.
And the snow factory up Ariel paid all my bills.
So whether it's a bad snow year or not, I mean, they're already making snow up there. I've been up
the
there
snow factory, yeah.
Yeah. So whether or not it's not really whether it's bad weather, because you'll still get the people through and going up to the Luna's slope.
And the gondola's open for sightseeing because it's a magical place.
That's it for today. I'm Sharon Brett-Kelly. The Detail is supported by the Public Interest Journalism Fund. Today's episode was engineered by Jeremy Ansell. Our producers are Sarah Robson and Bonnie Harrison. And thanks to the locals of National Park. Ka kite anō.